Hello and welcome to Council Catch Up here on WSTO TV. We're going to go over the December 9th, 2025 City Council meeting, and I'm here with Mayor Swadley. Welcome.
Good morning.
So you had the call to order and the consent agenda, or I'm sorry, you had some presentations in the communications section. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, probably the biggest communication is we did have a snow and ice removal presentation by Public Works Director Abear. Very comprehensive. I'd recommend that if you have any questions about how our routes work or how the alternate side parking works, you might want to just tune in at the beginning of the meeting and look at that presentation.
All right, and then you had the consent agenda, and then we moved on to old business. Ordinance 40 of 2025 relating to wastewater utility rates.
Yeah, so Stoughton Utilities is a wastewater utility rate increase. They try to do that periodically, that way we don't get big spikes. So if you do it every year or every few years, then you don't go from like a 3% hike to a 25% hike. So they try to do that on wastewater, electrical, and water to try to keep things kind of even, and it helps make sure they have consistent cash flow. We have a lot of initiatives right now. We're going to be doing quite a few updates at the wastewater plant in the next several years.
And then after that, we had Ordinance 41 of 2025 relating to the keeping of animals, birds, and honeybees.
Yeah, so you might know that in the city of Stoughton, you're allowed to have chickens and bees. And typically, we have an annual licensing and inspection fee that goes with it. And what we're trying to do is just have a one-time application period unless something changes. If you add on to your chicken coop or you add more, or you move or something like that. That way we don't have to spend administrative time processing, $25 checks. So we're really trying to streamline it and also save the homeowner some money as well.
And then moving on to new business, we had Resolution 170 of 2025 to amend the 2025 capital budget for a UTV for the fire department.
Yeah, so the fire department is getting a UTV, a new one. And the one that they had ordered came in slightly over budget, but we didn't account for the trade-in basically. So at the end of the day, we're going to be about, I think, $4,500 to the good, and we just need to do a budget amendment to make our numbers come out at the year end.
And then we had Resolution 171 of 2025 establishing a fee schedule for mowing, tree trimming, and snow removal.
Yeah, this is typically when we have what we would call minimum maintenance issues. And that's when a homeowner, for whatever reason, they're ill, or maybe there's foreclosure, or they're on vacation and their lawn doesn't get mowed, or the snow doesn't get shoveled in a timely manner. Typically what we do is either the planning department or somebody in Public Works would go out and contact the homeowner, maybe take some pictures, send a letter, give them a warning. And if we don't get a response, then at a certain point we can issue a citation. And if that's not paid, then we can go out and we can do the work ourselves and basically put it on the tax bill. That's kind of our last resort. We'd rather give the homeowner the opportunity to take care of the issue. And basically what we wanted to do is really just have some consistent and fair pricing if we were to have to charge that out.
And then moving on to Resolution 172 of 2025, reclassifying depot sale proceeds to a committed fund balance.
Yeah, so we had a request when we sold the depot from the Historical Society to put some funds aside for them. So this is kind of the beginning of that process. So we have a resolution, we have some funds set aside, which is adjustable. And my understanding is the Historical Society is going to make a decision on kind of their long-term plan for the storage of their artifacts in January at their board meeting. And they're looking at a couple different options. One option would be perhaps to add on to the museum, the church that they operate. Another one might be to put up a structure next to the Luke Stoughton house. So once they make that decision, I would expect that they would come back with some sort of a quote or something like that. And then we would have a conversation with them as far as the exact amount and whether or not there's any other participants that would help them offset that cost. They basically have items in storage for up to 2 years. They have an agreement with somebody local to store their items.
The next item we had is Resolution 173 of 2025 relating to electric vehicle charging stations at Mant Park.
Yeah, so there is some federal money available that was dispersed through Dane County, and it's called the Charge Up Program. So working with Darren Jacobson, our WPPI rep at Stoughton Utilities, we wrote 2 grants to try to secure EV charging stations, one for the North Municipal Lot, kind of behind Marchand's and the Coors House, and then the other one at Mant Park. And the one at Mant Park scored higher, so we've met electricians down there, engineers down there, Stoughton Utilities, Park and Rec, had conversations with Dane County about taking the next steps, which would be to enter into an agreement. So we're just kind of working through the language with the city attorneys. Our firm represents quite a few other municipalities in Dane County, and they're having the same types of conversations. And we're hoping that we'll secure possibly 4 charging stations down at Mant Park.
Okay. The next item is a discussion and possible action regarding the police union contract.
Yeah, so the police union contract, we were operating under a 1-year agreement, and Director Gillingham kind of went through all the changes that were made, and we are pleased to announce that we have a 2-year agreement with our police union, and basically the terms and conditions of that are detailed at the meeting, but basically the police officers are going to get basically the same raise as the city employees every year. We did implement a couple step programs for our more experienced officers at 7 and 10 years. It's something that we want to be competitive so we can retain police officers. There's a huge shortage of officers really nationwide, especially in Wisconsin. It's very competitive right now. We've tried to update our memorandum of understandings for different positions within the department, such as the school resource officer. We have one for a schedule that we've been testing that we're going to evaluate in July, which gives the officers more flexibility in their schedule and more time off and more weekends off, but yet gets them a day where they can all train together. So really, it's been kind of a combination of conversations over the last several months that has kind of led us to this point. So we're pleased to say that we are in a position where we can sign that. And then we also publicly learned last night that Police Chief Jenks is announcing his retirement. He's been a tremendous chief for us the last several years, and he's certainly going to be missed. So we'll be starting a process with the Police and Fire Commission here. We'll get the position posted. We'll put interview teams together, including officers from other municipalities that will help us through the processes. They'll be our expert witnesses, basically our expert material matter. And we'll see where the process takes us. But thanks and congratulations to Chief Jenks.
Yes. And then the last item on the agenda was a potential lease terms with Nathan Moe Enterprises.
Yeah, so you might recall that we recently are purchasing some property out on Williams Drive for potential municipal building or expansion of the business park. That property is supposed to close early next year, and Nathan Moe is one of the farmers that uses the fields out there. And we want to carry over our agreement until we decide what we're going to do with the land. So we're putting together the terms and conditions of the lease, which is very similar to what he currently operates with.
Okay, that's all we had on the agenda for the December 9th, 2025 City Council meeting. We'll see you next time on Council Catch Up.